An authoritarian military dictatorship ruled Chile for 17 years, between September 11, 1973 and March 11, 1990. The dictatorship was established after the democratically elected socialist government of Salvador Allende was overthrown in a coup d'état backed by the United States on September 11, 1973. During this time, the country was ruled by a military junta headed by General Augusto Pinochet. The military used the breakdown of democracy and the economic crisis that took place during Allende's presidency to justify its seizure of power. The dictatorship presented its mission as a national reconstruction. The coup was the result of multiple forces, including pressure from conservative groups, certain political parties, union strikes and other domestic unrest, as well as international factors. The regime was characterized by the systematic suppression of political parties and the persecution of dissidents to an extent unprecedented in the history of Chile. Overall, the regime left over 3,000 dead or missing, tortured tens of thousands of prisoners, and drove an estimated 200,000 Chileans into exile. The dictatorship's effects on Chilean political and economic life continue to be felt. 2 years after its ascension, neoliberal economic reforms were implemented, in sharp contrast to Allende's leftist policies, advised by a team of free market economists educated in U.S. universities known as the Chicago Boys. Later, in 1980, the regime replaced the Chilean Constitution of 1925 with a new constitution in a sham referendum. Dubious this established a series of provisions that would eventually lead to the 1988 Chilean national plebiscite on October 5 of that year. In that plebiscite, 55% of voters rejected the proposal of extending Pinochet's presidency for another 8 years. Consequently, democratic presidential and parliamentary elections were held the following year. The military dictatorship ended in 1990 with the election of Christian Democrat candidate Patricia Aylwin. However, the military remained out of civilian control for several years after the junta itself had lost power.